hold it. Hey, I'm in the room too, okay? So I'm taking my lashes with that. All right. Guys, do me a favor. Give me a total on the likes. All supers go to the top. Philly 500 will join me at 4:30. And now, without further ado, our good friend, Big C, Zander Krause. How you doing, brother?
You got me now?
Crystal clear.
Check. You got me? Sorry, bro. I don't know why that happened. This damn microphone. How you living over there, Big Sills? I'm feeling good, brother.
You should be, man. Hey, Xander, here we are, man. 8 days to combines. 50 million people will watch that stupid shit with people running around in their draws. Yeah. Then we're 21 days out to free agency. So the Eagles end up getting their guy today, Kevin Patullo. They end up elevating him from within. Let me hear what your take is on that.
You know, I don't dislike it because if you're going to have this revolving door at coordinator, the only chance to keep some form of stability for your quarterback is to give him a guy that he's been around for a long time. So he's been with now Patullo for 4 years. Patullo has been involved in the offense for 4 years. It is a little bit different than the Brian Johnson scenario. And I said this morning on the show, I'm almost at a point where if I'm an offensive coordinator and I come into the Eagles, I go to Jalen Hurts first and I say, what do you want to run this year? What do you want to add to the offense? What do you want to do differently? And what do you want to build around? Because all these new things coming in and in and in and in, it's Jalen Hurts' team, and you got to start treating it like that because every time you bring in a new guy, I mean, they give him a new playbook, a new terminology, new everything. So I don't hate this hire for that reason. I will say it's fair for the people who say, hopefully this goes well. Last time we promoted from within, it didn't go that well. And the other thing I would say is I think Jalen Hurts thrives when he's pushed in coaching. Okay. And I don't know if they're going to bring in, I don't know who they're going to bring in at quarterback's coach. We'll see. But I hope it's not an era of complacency in the room where they want to keep evolving. They want to keep getting better. They want to keep working on different things. And I think they will. But I don't dislike the Patullo hire for that reason because it is the only form of stability that he's had in the room.
So you think this offense this past season was Jalen Hurts' offense?
I'm not saying that. I'm thinking moving forward, though, you might want to start to go to him first.
Well, that's away from the formula, though.
Well, not necessarily. His formula might. How do you know that?
Because I saw it for 6 months.
What do you mean? He has never called.
I saw Saquon Barkley put the team on his back and carry the team all the way to the end into the whole season. I watched.
Yeah. So why are you so sure Hurts would want to change that?
I'm not. You're saying that you would go to him and ask him what changes he wanted when I'd be like, I think the Kevin Patullo hire is telling you that they're not going to have much change. And if anything, it's going to be a subtle change. I think if you wanted to get a passing guy, you would have went outside the organization and brought a guy in.
Yeah, I think that's.
I don't think that they're going to. I don't think there's going to be any kind of deviant off of it, except I would expect them to raise the bar a bit for the passing game. I think that easily is the question mark in the offseason. But man, I'm not getting off that formula that won me a Lombardi.
I agree. No reason to get off it. I just mean in terms of, change in the quarterback's ear, year in and year out. You have a winning formula, just went to the Super Bowl. I don't think that's the time to bring in a new coordinator who's like, okay, let's bring in a new playbook and new terminology. So from that perspective, I do like it for this spot. But, they got to continue to evolve. I mean, I get it. I see Charlie Swift already in the comments. Charlie, I don't think what you're saying is off base. Last time they elevated from within, it hasn't typically gone well. Even going all the way back to the Andy days. I mean, promoting from within, it hasn't really been the right move for this organization. I happen to think it is in this moment. But, the other thing is I think this is this shows that the coaching staff has re-earned the trust of the front office, because this is a Nick Sirianni guy. So he's earned it. He won a Super Bowl. He led the team to a Super Bowl. And I think it shows you that the front office is going to let him make a decision again.
That was one of my topics here. Let me go down here to this one. Sirianni wins now the Super Bowl. He's got an NFC championship. The OC hiring, as you just said, here's a coach. How much more time is it before Nick has the autonomy that he wants and earned and gets? Because now we look at 23 and do this. Okay, that kind of fell on their ear, but dude, 2 of the 3 years you're in the Super Bowl. Fuck that, man. At 23 was just a meltdown.
Yeah, well, right, it was an outlier.
It was something that's not going to be the standard. Okay, the standard is hanging around the Super Bowl and winning them and being in them.
Right.
That to me, okay. So when does this get to the Doug level? Or does it ever get to the Doug level?
Yeah, it might not. It might not. It might not get.
Did it get there with Doug?
I don't know if Sirianni, truthfully, I don't know if Sirianni wants it to get to that level. I think there is a level of beauty, especially now that it worked, in the way the Eagles are set up. All right. And that's in that Nick Sirianni can focus on what he's got to focus on. Howie Roseman can focus on what he's got to focus on. Position coaches can do what they do. All of those things, I think everybody can try and be the best at what they do instead of, I get it. The old school coaches where they manage every part of the organization, who comes in, who goes out, the players, the draft, everything. I think Nick Sirianni likes that he's got a great GM in Howie Roseman. And I think it makes it a lot easier when you do have a GM like Howie, by the way. I mean, Howie's done a really good job. I mean, Mel Kiper was on ESPN last night calling him one of the greatest GMs the NFL has ever seen. So, again, I don't know enough to go that far, but, I mean, I know Mel Kiper's been around for a long time now. I know not everybody loves him.
That's a great comment.
Yeah, he called him, a Hall of Fame GM. So, Howie's operating now, I think, at a higher level. So, I don't know if he'll ever want to get to that point. I think Nick is like.
You're dismissing his ego, though. He has a massive ego.
Who, Nick or Howie?
Nick. Both. Well, you had to put Dom
Howie, definitely. Howie,
had to put Dom on the sidelines from stopping the guy from screaming in the stands.
Yeah, but that's not fair. Dom's been here for 15 years.
I'm not talking really about Dom. You're talking about Sirianni's ego and talking about is
that ego or is that emotional?
Are you saying that this guy hasn't shown errors of judgment when he's been on the sideline?
I didn't say
because
that,
of his ego.
All right. Well, are you going to say that that's more important than 2 Super Bowls in 3 years?
No, I'm asking you, do you think once this guy continues to build his resume that eventually he's going to want to have some say in what goes on with player personnel, with coaching hires? That, like you just said, he's built the autonomy to put Kevin Patullo in there. You just said that. When does it get to be a point where he starts to do, and you're saying, and I got you, you're saying Doug got that. Doug didn't handle it well, did he? Because they got into pissing matches back and forth. And remember Seth Joyner in my program, he would said, that's when Doug told him to kick the can down the road. Fuck it, I'm not in here any longer. You're saying Nick's going to be able to control that. I'll tell you what he does do every single press conference that you're right. You know what that is? He always brings up Howie in personnel, in the evaluating of the talent, the coordinators that he talks to. He does do that. And John McMullen wrote a column, The Politics of Nick Sirianni. So he probably gets the room better than what Doug got. So you're probably right where he's going to control that. Hey, and by the way, like you said, if I got a stiff general manager in there, I'm not fucking listening to that guy. If I got a guy that's constantly giving me top flight players, I'm going to do this. You know, he knows what he's doing here. He's only doing this to help me.
Yeah, I agree. And look, their motto, their entire motto in the organization is you can't be great without the greatness of others. You know, and by the way, the one thing I disagree with you on is I don't really think that that's ego from Nick. I think that's just he's an emotional dude. And you're not wrong that he's had some moments where you question some of that decision making, but I've never really gotten the sense from Nick that he's power hungry. You know, I've actually gotten a little bit of the opposite where I think he's willing to die on the sword for his players and even sometimes for the organization when it's not even necessary. So I don't think, you know, I don't know. You're not wrong in that when you earn things in life and when you win and you start to get discussed with coaches like John Madden
Yeah.
and Vince Lombardi, people are going to start to say things. Maybe some of those thoughts will come up from Nick Sirianni. I don't particularly think that they're overwhelming at this point. In fact, I think Nick doesn't strike me as a guy that looks at this and goes, I want to be the GM too. I don't see that at all. Coaching staff you're going to want.
Doug did.
Well, that was Doug's mentality. I don't see that with Nick as much.
I don't either.
Yeah,
nope.
I don't see that.
No, I do not. Well, here, before I get to Jalen Hurts, let me ask you the same questions that are being asked about Hurts on Nick. Is Nick a problem of the organization, or is Nick the reason they're winning Super Bowls?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, you can't, you're not going to win a Super Bowl with a shitty roster, no matter how good of a coach you are. And you're not going to win a Super Bowl with a great roster if you got a trash can head coach. So, I mean.
Well, you've had 3 coaches in 20 years that have gone to Super Bowls that the organization has put in the room. 2 have won. 2 have won. 1 didn't win. That was Andy, actually, believe it or not. So in 20 years, I mean, every guy that you've hired outside of Chip has been to a Super Bowl since 2000.
I mean, isn't that a credit that they're hiring good coaches?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So is it the organization, or is it
the organization? But I mean, you can't just dismiss what Nick has done because you're saying.
I'm asking a question. That's all I'm doing here.
No, I think. Well, my answer is I think it's a little bit of both. I think you need a great organization, and that obviously helps, especially when you're set up this way, right? Especially when you're set up this way. I mean, we just talked about the setup, the GM, the coach, the assistants, the players, Jalen, the non-continuity. I mean, you got to be firing on all cylinders if that's going to be your setup. So. I think it's both. I think the organization is operating at a very high level. I think Jeffrey Lurie, to his credit, has created a system that seems to work right now. And Nick Sirianni has benefited from that. But I don't believe if you didn't have the right coach, you'd win a Super Bowl.
Well, let me ask you then this. Do you think that the Eagles believe that if they could hire another guy, put him in there, and they'd win a Super Bowl?
I don't believe that.
I do. Because they have. Their resume says it.
I don't see that.
Really? Where? Don't you see it? Doug won, Andy won, all these other coaches. Nick, they put him in. He won. I mean, where don't you see the facts that they made those hires?
So are you saying that you don't give Nick Sirianni much credit for this?
I'm asking you, do you think the organization believes that he is a product of what they have put together? Because the same question's being asked about Hurts. Is it team? Or is it Jalen? I'm asking the same thing, but I'm putting Nick in the bullseye here. Do you think that, and again, I think John McMullen's column was great. Nick knows how to navigate better than any of the coaches that they have had in the building in there since 2000. And he knows how to navigate. Believe me, dude, he saved his 18 months ago. He was almost fired. Okay?
I mean,
18 months ago, there were conversations that got the guy on the yacht talking about whether or not John McMullen even said after the Tampa Bay game, I remember on your show. I don't know.
Look, Nick's had his moments, but he's a Super Bowl champion. Does the organization think it's because of them? Most likely. They thought it was because of them with Doug.
That's why my question would be, when does Nick do this? Put his foot down and go, hey, fuck, I want more say in this thing here. Look at my resume.
Why does he need to?
Because every coach has and wants what they want at times. And if there's something in the building in there, dude, you just lost a Super Bowl coach in Doug because of that. I didn't really look at Doug as having any kind of crazy ego, but Doug wanted to have a particular coach. When does that become an issue? When it comes to hiring of a coordinator. So you think this is going to go down the line the next couple of years. Nick continues to win. He wants a different DC in there, say, in 2 years after Vic calls it a career. And how he wants this guy. You don't think that conversation will ever come up?
I think
that guy continues to win?
I think that conversation will come up. I would hope that we're grown men and we can have the conversation and move forward and ultimately come up with the best decision for the organization. I mean, everybody's got to make sacrifices in life. That's part of it when you're in a team game. If you want to go into business in yourself, then start a YouTube channel and run it yourself. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck you want me to do. It's a team game. You got to work with people. Howie, Nick, both of you guys. And I think they've done a pretty good job at it. I think Cilio is trying to stir me up. All right. No,
With
I
what?
like Nick. I like Nick. I think I'm
Okay,
wrong
with
on
what?
Nick.
I'm asking what.
I think one of the things I've been the
I
most
don't think
wrong
I'm
on since
saying
I started
anything
doing
that's
content
not
is
going to
Nick.
be. I don't think I'm saying anything that's what not being thought about or how coaches have operated over the last 100 years in the league. There's nothing different what I'm saying. You start winning ball games. You build autonomy in your own organization because you know what Nick could do? Nick could go like this, fuck you. I'm going to go to San Francisco and coach. Because, dude, that resume matters now.
And how we gonna say, go ahead.
That's right. That's
they traded
the point.
3 1s for Trey fucking
That's
Lance.
right.
Have fun.
That's right. That's what they'll do.
Well,
because that's what they have done.
So you're saying ego is going to be the demise in 3 years?
I don't know. I asked the question, do you think that the more Nick wins, Nick's not going to –
Yeah, I get what you're
just
saying.
got through
I
saying
guess it's likely, yes.
5 minutes ago, you said he's earned the right to put Patullo in there. Okay. When does he earn the right to do other things like personnel decisions, wanting a certain quarterback coach, and all of a sudden Howie goes, hey, man, relationships, when it comes to building, you know what the thing that the Eagles had this last year that was the best of anybody in the league? They had clarity in defining roles. And that's what won them. Everyone knew their role. I'm the coach. I put the personnel. I hire assistant coaches. I did all that. We're not going to do what we did a year ago. We had 1,000 voices in the room, and we had bullshit decision-making. That was clearly what went on here. Yeah, no. Listen, I think the more Nick wins, the more he's entitled to that.
Yeah, I think it's, I definitely hear what you're saying. I just think it's a little bit, I think it's complex. I think the organization right now is doing a really good job, and I think they all recognize that. I mean, I would hope that Howie can look at Nick and appreciate what Nick has done, and I would hope Nick can look at Howie and appreciate what he's done. All right, it looks like they do right now. Now, when you hear the owner talk at the Super Bowl week, and he didn't really speak glowingly of Nick. I didn't think that was the right move, but so I get where you're coming from. I don't think where you're coming from is completely unfounded. I think I'm still in a little bit of, Super Bowl la land where I'm like, are you going to tell me that Nick and Howie are going to be fighting? I don't see it right now, but I do agree. In the future, I do think that could be something that comes up. But, I think Nick is a different guy. I think Nick,
then who hired Patullo?
I think Patullo is a Sirianni guy.
Yeah, okay, so you think Howie?
Actually, I know that.
You know that. Okay.
I know that Patullo is a Sirianni guy. Yeah, he brought him here. Now, do I know whether Nick
you think that's a reward?
What's that?
You think that's a reward for Nick? That Nick makes
I don't know. I think even if you're Howie, what would be your better alternative?
No. I'd like to hire if they do what they did a year ago, 5 to 10% increasing in the passing game.
Yeah, I mean, just because there's two different people doesn't mean they're going to see it different ways.
No. What I'm saying here is, though, do you think Nick went like this? Because didn't the owner go like this? Hey, the owner now, general manager, going to be knee deep into the decision making on who's going to be the OC. That was publicly said by the owner. We're going to be knee deep in this. So what you're saying is you think Nick went ahead and made that hire, and that's Nick's hire, and that the owner and the general manager were probably cool with that.
Yes, that's what I think. I think Nick wanted to elevate him. I think it was the right move by Nick. I think the owner and the GM looked at it and said, I agree. He just won a Super Bowl, and he's been here for 4 years. And I think they all agreed that was the right move, and that's what they did. Now, I don't know. I didn't hear any interviews with anybody else. Did you? I didn't see anything.
No,
so I don't know. Maybe they kept it in-house. I know you have to interview minority candidates. So
I know they called Frank.
You're right.
Like I told you, I don't know what that – it was a courtesy call to Frank because Nick loves Frank so much.
Yeah, right.
Dude, it would not shock me if Frank Wright was the quarterback coach. Frank's making $7 million. He don't really need to be the OC of that thing. Frank just wants to be back in football.
Who they bring in for quarterback coach? That's another spot that Jalen's had a lot of change at. Andrew says something interesting. Andrew, what's up, bro? He says, I don't give a fuck if it's Nick or Howie. I hope Jalen had input and he's comfortable with it. There might be a level of truth to that, though. We're worried about the guys who aren't on the field. Maybe the guy on the field should be the one to approve. But
I think that's why the hire was probably even better because he likes Kevin Patullo.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Patullo has been there all 4 years with
Yeah.
Jalen. So,
Yeah.
they know each other obviously well.
Yeah. And plus, I don't want them to go back to Steichen's offense because that's the fastest way to get Hurts killed.
I don't
I
like
mean,
that.
take a look at Anthony Richardson and take a look at what happened at the end of Steichen in 22. Hurts was banged up in the last 3 games of the year heading into the playoffs. He was still dealing with a shoulder injury when he got into the Super Bowl. I'm not looking for any of that shit. All right. Boy, I'll tell you, man, I got up this morning and I started, just going around the internet. And the conversation about Jalen Hurts,
It's everywhere.
it's about elite or is it the team? And I saw this thing with Pete Prisco. We were talking about it prior to going on the air, and I'm like, this guy would take C.J. Stroud, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, who else? Baker Mayfield, and I think there was somebody else. There were 5 dudes, and I think he went on a local Philly show. I think he went on 97.5, and he was saying all this, and I'm like, dude, you're talking 2 different things. It's like I tell people about the Brady conversation with Rodgers. Brady's nowhere in Rodgers' league when it comes to athletic quarterbacks and the talent level that they have. But, dude, the greatest quarterbacks in the game, the most talented, skilled players ever to play the position, they're 2 different conversations. They're completely 2 different. They're 2 different lists when you're talking about winning. I can't dismiss winning. I'm sorry. And what do you make of what's going on? I mean, I've never seen a guy win an MVP award have to fight for respect more than Hurts does.
I think it's all fucking stupid. I think Pete Prisco is trying to be, I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't want to speak on the man. I don't know the man personally. I think what he said doesn't even make fucking sense. It doesn't even make sense. Dak Prescott's been in the league for 9 years. He's had 2 number 1 offenses in the NFL, and he's 2-5 in the postseason. He's had 7 playoff games in 9 years, and Jalen Hurts has had 10 in 4 years. The only way you get more playoff games is if you win in the playoffs. So all this regular season quarterbacking skills talk, honestly, how I feel about it at this point is it's beneath the level of conversation that I believe the Eagles are in. All right. Nobody mentions Mahomes in these conversations. Jalen Hurts is a better winner than all of these guys. If you want to tell me that you think Dak Prescott's the better guy to wake up on October 3rd on any given year and beat the Chargers or some bullshit team in the regular season, and you want to take Dak because you want a high-flying passing offense, then be my guest. When push comes to shove and you get into the postseason and the lights are the brightest and you got to win a game by any stretch, by any means necessary, I'll take Jalen Hurts over every person in the league except for Patrick Mahomes. That's how far I'm going on Jalen Hurts. All these conversations about the talent, all these, it's so elementary. But why are we even having the conversation?
It's 90% of the people that are talking like that outside of Philly. NFL people talk like that too. I mean, it's not just media people, dude. It's other folks that say the same thing. I'll make this point to you. Do you think that Joe Burrow's probably the greatest? I would make this comment about Burrow. Burrow's probably the best pure passer in the game. Fair?
I think that's, yeah, I'd probably say yes.
Let's do this one here.
You're talking about pure arm talent in the league right now. I got
pure arm talent, reading defenses.
Yeah,
he's probably taken. I think he's even better than Mahomes at doing that.
I agree.
Here's where Jalen Hurts, and here's where I gave. And this morning I said, this is where I'm going to. I think Jalen Hurts probably. No, I'll say he is. He's probably the best decision-making quarterback. And I liked what someone said in here, and the most disciplined quarterback in the league. And I think discipline, and I think the way that you go about how you discipline yourself and how your decision-making, I think that's what wins Super Bowls. I don't think talent wins Super Bowls. I've seen some of the least talented players in the league win Super Bowls.
I agree 100% with that.
Decision-making and being disciplined.
How about one other thing I'll add, and you can tell me whether you agree or disagree. How about elite versatility?
Yes.
Joe Burrow can't do.
Nope.
Joe Burrow can pass the ball great. If I need Joe Burrow to go and pick up 8 yards on 3rd down and move the chains, he can't do that.
Nope.
All right. Same thing with Mahomes. Now he's a little bit better at it, but Jalen Hurts is so versatile in that every form, it's been a funny 4 years of his career because every year has required a different quarterback from Jalen Hurts, right? His first year starting, he took Jalen Reagor and Queasy Watkins to the playoffs. All right. And a rookie Devontae Smith. His second year, Miles Sanders was your back. You still had a good running game, but he was an MVP level quarterback with the way he played the game. Last year, he was in the MVP conversation until week 12. I think people forget that very quick early, but then he fell off a little bit. That required a different quarterback, and I think he learned from what he did wrong and what the whole team did wrong at the end of the year. This year, it required him to be a great game manager. Don't turn the ball over. Keep your team ahead in the football game, and you'll win most games. And that's what he did. And when the last 2 games showed up, he had to be a passer, and he passed the ball tremendous. So I look at Jalen, and I'm like, boy, anything this team asks him to do, he seems to meet the moment. Is he the best passer? No. Is he the best guy from the pocket? No. Does he scramble better than Lamar? No. But when the Eagles need him to be a scramble guy, he does it. When the Eagles need him to make a deep pass to Devontae Smith, he does it.
He's a better decision maker than Lamar.
And that's for sure. But that goes into it. And I think the versatility is big too, because every time a perfect example is the Super Bowl, right? Spags took away what made the team great on offense. Completely took it away. 50 yards. I don't remember the last time Saquon had 50 yards. And Jalen Hurts, to his credit, threw the ball tremendous, even before our defense took over. You remember the Jahan Dotson throw. Identified single coverage, put the man in motion, and a perfect throw. So, I don't know, man.
I had a conversation this morning about this with Dave Wanstadt. And they would have come on, but they're all going down to the Keys. Aikman and all them guys are going down there to see Jimmy and such. And I asked him one question about Joe Burrow playing in Philly. You think they would have won the Super Bowl? You know what Dave said? Dave goes, no. And I go, Joe Burrow in Philly. He goes, oh, he put a lot of yards up. Would he win? He goes, do you think Barkley would have had 2,000 yards rushing?
I was saying
if Joe Burrow was the quarterback, I go, no. He goes, dude, coordinators are concerned about the passing game, but you know what they're more concerned about? A running quarterback that makes the right decision and when to take off running. How many times in that Ravens game did we watch Lamar? His mom even questioned him. Why didn't you take off? You had like 7 or 8 runs. Remember what we were saying on Monday? Fuck, man. His decision-making in that game was terrible.
I agree.
Against the Eagles, when Vic was throwing up complex schemes against him, he couldn't find the open guy.
Right.
And you're sitting there going like, okay. So to me, my opinion of Hurts is like you said. I mean, I agree with Eric Allen. He's not the best passer. He's not the best pocket presence, even though I think the last 2 games kind of puts that to bed a little because I thought he was great in the NFC title game and the Super Bowl. I think the sacks, let's see. It's a great wideout, the Super Bowl. It wasn't a factor. Will it be this year? We'll see how Kevin Patullo handles that and how Hurts handles that. Maybe it was being a first-time guy when it came to setting protections. I mean, I had never heard that a quarterback 6 years in the league, 5 years in the league, didn't know how to set protections or wasn't allowed to. I don't know. I've not heard that before. Maybe that stunted it a little bit. And he got better as the year went on, which I think happened. So, to me, again, Hurts gives you the versatility. And I think he's more versatile than what Lamar is. Lamar's a better talent, dude. But Jalen's a better player.
Yeah, I agree completely. I 100% agree with that. You know, if you go up, this is why I hate this stupid quarterback conversation. And even when you grade players now, it's not Lamar Jackson is arguably one of the top 5 quarterbacks to ever grace a football field in the history of humanity.
No doubt.
Okay. That's how talented he is as a player. He doesn't win in the postseason. He doesn't win. And that's where I get into this conversation of, okay, so winning matters more. Winning matters more. And Jalen continues to win and do things necessary to win games. And you just gave him a lot of credit for his decision-making. I think it's a great point by you all the way around. And I think some of those intangibles perhaps mean more than we thought they did.
Yeah.
You can be a great passer. You can be, and that's why
Yeah.
I think I also think those intangibles are why you can't just put any quarterback in the Eagles and you win the Super Bowl.
No.
Yeah, I don't think it works.
We used to always talk like that, and Dave was telling me, he goes, dude, Barkley got the $2,000 because Hurts and AJ are in the huddle. You can't take them two guys away, man.
Right.
You take those two guys away, he's in fucking New York with a better old line, which means he's a 1,300-yard guy.
Right.
Okay? You put him in there with a guy who could take off and get you 800 yards and 14 touchdowns rushing. Dude, I think those 14 touchdowns, I know a lot of them are tush push. Still, the guy gives you versatility in that huddle. All right. I'm going to throw this at you here. By the way, we're going to read the super chats here in a second. Please, all supers go to the top. Do me a favor also. Hit the like button. Philly 500 is going to join us at the bottom of the hour here. Bro, I'm going to make a statement here to you about Zach Bond. I'm not offering that guy more than 3 years, $31 million.
For who?
For Zach, and I'll tell you why.
I'll go a little higher than you, but
I'll tell you why. He's 28 years old, and every one of those other guys, Fred Warner, Roquan Smith, they signed them $20 million deals when they were 24 or 25 years old. That's a big gap.
Yeah, and he's only been great for 1 year.
1 year, and he's 28. Yeah. I'm not giving that guy $18 million or $15 million.
The only way he gets that is if some stupid team comes in and gives it to him. I would give,
I say okay.
Here's what I would do. I would do 3 years. You got to give your team an out after 2. And that, by the way, that's what Howie always does. Like he did with Saquon. He got him a 3-year contract, but he got an easy out after 2 years. That's what they're going to do with Bond. They're going to have an easy out after 2 years when he's 30 years old. I'd give him a lot of the money up front, and I'd give him right around $13 to $15 million a year. Give him 26 to 28 million guaranteed. All right. Make sure you take care of him. And if he doesn't take it, I think you got to move on. I mean, you're not going to, this team isn't going to pay $20 million for a linebacker. They're not.
Never happened. He's not even going to, he will not be offered that.
I think 15 million is a spot I would go there, Joe.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to hang around 31 million.
That's low, man. That's not even 11 million a year.
3 years, 31 million. I'm not,
I
don't see it at 20.
Can you explain to me why you go 10 million, but not 13 million, 15 million?
Because let me ask you this. Okay. And here's why. So if Becton leaves the right guard position, are you pretty confident that Jeff Stoutland is going to find an adequate, if not better, replacement at right guard?
I got to be honest on this one. For the first time in a long time, I think you'll get an adequate replacement, but you ain't finding no 6'8" giant like Mekhi Becton. You're not to play guard. So I don't know. I don't know about replacing Mekhi. I think you're going to get a good guard. Yes, because Stoutland always produces good offensive linemen. I don't want to say that as though he's not going to be able to replace him, but you are kind of talking about, a giant over there who's played well.
Who was a bust? Who was a bust?
And he's 25.
Who was the bust?
Yeah, I know, but he's also 25 years old. So Howie can look at him and say, boy, we got an offense. I mean, you get him under contract for 4 years, dude, you got Mailata, Dickerson, Juergens, and Becton. Okay. And now you're going to draft a tackle to replace Lane probably.
How confident would you feel then in Vic replacing that guy? Isn't he the defense's version of Jeff Stoutland?
Yeah, less
look at the players he developed this year with his coaching staff. Don't you have confidence in that staff and Bobby King? And also with how those guys are developed. Look at the players that have stepped up that everybody in Philly, including me, were calling bust.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, they were Pro Bowlers.
Yep.
Do you have confidence that Vic could go, let's go find another guy?
To Zach Bond's level, he ain't doing it. I don't care who you are. Vince Lombardi could come out here. I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter. Okay. You're not finding a guy off the scrap heap that's going to be a first team All-Pro. Now, You could make the argument that there's no way Zach Bond is a first-team All-Pro again. That would be a fair argument. The regression to the mean there is possible. I mean, where he's just not going to be as good. I mean, how can you even live up to what he did, right?
Okay.
But I don't
How
know.
about this one? If you're Zach Bond, you think you're the player you are if you go to Jacksonville?
No.
You could
wait. You can make that comment though, Sills. I said this morning on Birds 365. Funniest part about these big free agents, every last one of them, is Milton Williams going to be the same guy not next to Jalen Carter?
Hell no.
Is Zach Bond going to be the same guy without Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, Jordan Davis, and Nolan Smith in front of him? And a good secondary behind him? Is Josh Sweat going to be the same edge rusher without a Jalen Carter on the line? Is Mekhi Becton going to be the same player without Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson on his left and right?
No. You're chasing bags of money here.
You're chasing bags of money. Now, some of them are going to get it, and some of them I'm not going to knock them for going down that road. Everybody's got to take care of their family. Obviously, money is what supports families in life. I understand that. But, I think Mekhi Becton is going to stay put. I really do. I think what happened in New York nearly broke his football spirit. I think it almost got him to a point of saying, I don't want to play here. I don't want to play football anymore. I got my money and I don't want to play football. I believe he found something. Now, I'm projecting.
No. Fred Johnson said the same thing, that his will was broken in Cincinnati.
Right. And I think that Mekhi loves this place. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he takes the money, but I think there's a team-friendly deal, and Mekhi Becton is going to take it, and he's going to stay put in Philly, and that would solve that problem. With Zach Bond, it's interesting because you're talking about a guy, and again, I hate the pocket counting, but it comes into factor with players and what they're going to do. Mekhi Becton was a first-round draft pick, so he got a big bonus, a big guaranteed signing bonus when he was drafted to the league. Let's look real quick up Mekhi Becton, what his career earnings are. And again, I don't like career earnings, $22 million. You can earn more, but he's doing all right. You know what Zach Bond's career earnings are right now? Let's look. Yeah, $8 million career earnings. $8 million.
Okay.
So you're going to he has a chance to make $15 million a year. A year.
So $8 million he's made in his career, foreign taxes are gone. He's probably got in a bank account right now, standard living. He's probably got $2 million in the bank.
Right. That's not that much money.
Right.
I mean, you blow through $2 million quick. Yeah. Especially for,
people forget when you get drafted. I forgot
he's got his whole life ahead of him. He was 28.
Hey, Zander, I forgot when you got drafted, the tax man comes in and that fucker takes 27% of the money here. So you're going like, hang on here. So if you sign for $1 million, you mean to tell me, hang on here, wait a minute. I only have $700,000. Yeah. You got to buy a house. You got to live someplace. You got a standard of living.
Yeah. All of a sudden you're like, wait a second.
All of a sudden I got $400,000.
I thought I was rich. No.
Right. And you're like, wait a minute here. So, I mean.
So, that's where Bond is interesting, where if you're the Eagles and you want to keep him around and you want him to take a team-friendly deal, you got to do something to sweeten the pot. So maybe the answer is you like you just said, you only got a couple $1 million in the bank. I'll give you $10 million up front right now. Right. And then we'll give you $13 million. Well, your average annual value will be $13 million a year. You get $10 million up front. You get 80% of your contract fully guaranteed for 2 years here in Philly. And you can go and you're going to be taken care of, and you're going to be a great football player with a chance to win more rings. That's what you're going to have to do. Doesn't mean Zach is going to take it. And the other two dudes I think are gone, Sweat and Milton. I think they're done.
You know what, though, here? For me, I saw Oren Burks walk in on the Kobe spot. I saw no drop-off. And to me, that was coaching by King and by Vic. Now, could that have lasted all year? I'm thinking not. Okay, I'm not saying to you that Oren's better, but I saw great coaching for a guy who was a special teams guy splitting reps with Trotter on the special teams. Walk in, dude, every game ball, NFC title game, Rams game. Did he play poor at all in any of the playoff games? That's a no.
Dude, this
guy's for me, I went like this. Could Vic do that again and find another guy in the free agent area, bring a dude in, and there you have it. You plug him in there, and there's Dre Greenlaw in the middle next to Kobe. That's not an awful sound. If that guy wants to go 15 million, I'm pretty confident Vic's going to dude, the key is the dudes in front of him.
Yeah, so you don't think they're going to sign Vaughn? Is that what you're saying?
No. I think that the Eagles are going to be, my fear is this, is that there's going to be, and there is half the league stupid, okay? Half of it is going to come up with this stupid number when the market value of that player is really $10 million a year. That's really what he's worth at 28. Zander, no player has ever gotten at the linebacker position a deal that people are talking about of $13 or more million after the age of 28. Nobody has signed that deal as an inside linebacker. And to think that that guy would be the first in Philly who kind of like rejects that conversation at linebacker, no way.
You got to go above 10, though, Sills. 10's not going to get it done. 10's bad business because there's no chance.
So should Howie negotiate with what the market value is, or should Howie give the guy a contract because he wants to feel good about himself because the guy really performed? Is that what you're saying? Or does Howie, because if Howie puts him on the market, I'm sorry, dude, there's going to be a stupid team that's going to put a 13 or 14 number up there. And
I'll go, if I'm the Eagles, I'm going 13 all day. All day. I can do that.
Here's the problem that you have with Zach. Say Zach gets a contract from Cleveland. Fuck. Really? You're going to be a bum in Cleveland.
Nobody's going to say your name again. Who the fuck are the linebackers in Cleveland?
Nobody's going to know who you are.
Who are the linebackers in Cleveland? Does anybody know?
No, bro. If you go there, or if you're going to be a nobody, and you're going to get killed.
All right, let me project something for you. I'll tell you what I would sign right now. 3 years, $40 million. It's 13.3 a year. And give them $28 million guaranteed. 26, 27, 28.
You're giving him the extra 3 because you like what he did for you this year. You're giving him pats on the head.
I think he's earned it.
Okay.
He picked off Mahomes in the Super Bowl, my guy.
Bro, me and John McMullen both said, I've never seen anything like it in that Brazil game. There's not a chance in hell he's going to play like that the rest of the year. Well, that wasn't true either.
Yeah, no, look, and you guys weren't wrong, crazy for thinking that either. I'm doing that deal with Zach. Are you not doing that?
I don't want to negotiate with just me, though. I want to see what people think of him. How about if they let him go on the market? There's an offer. How he tells his agent and him, listen, or is that disrespectful?
Sounds a little Joe Shoney.
Yeah, but Howie's not going to lie. Howie doesn't have to lie. Howie doesn't have to lie. Here's the question. Zander,
bald eagle.
Here's the question. Should Howie Hey, if you're Howie, would you let him test the market before you offered him a deal?
He's going to, because his agent's going to make him. Dude, you remember.
I think that's helpful to the Eagles.
He ain't the only one who's making money on this deal. His agent's looking at this like, I thought I had a minimum contract player. This guy was an all-pro, man.
5 to 10%. 5 to 10%.
So he's going to make millions of dollars on this thing. So, I'm looking at the linebacker, man. He was the #1 rated linebacker this year, which is just crazy. Over Warner, over Roquan, over all these guys. #1 ranked out of 84 linebackers. I mean, 1,200 snaps this year. I mean,
I don't have a problem with him testing the market.
I don't either. But I'm meeting the deal up. I'm meeting the deal up to 14, 15 million.
I would make it very clear. Listen, dude, test the market, but listen, give us the right of first refusal, and we're going to make this work. We want to get to yes. I think they want to. I totally think both sides want. By the way, I think Zach wants to. But
I do too, but I think Zach is also listening to his agent who's like, bro, you got one more chance to make a lot of money.
These agents are scumbags.
I know they are, dude. Hey, I know they are.
Hey, I mean, dude, you know what?
Who's Bond's agent? Let me find it for you guys. Who's Bond's agent?
Patrick
Collins from CAA football. Jimmy Sexton.
Excellent. Jimmy Sexton's outstanding.
That's the third guy listed there. It says
I know
Patrick Collins,
I know
RJ
Jimmy very
Gonzer,
well.
and Jimmy Sexton from CAA football.
You know, let me tell you about Jimmy Sexton, okay? He's John Gruden's agent too. I'll tell you what he is. Jimmy Sexton is a guy who has a ton of players. Turning around and pissing Howie off. These agents don't like to piss these guys off because you know why? There may be 3 or 4 other guys on that football team that have Jimmy Sexton as their agent, and that negotiation will go a tad bit harder with Howie and him.
Yeah.
You start dicking around with the numbers.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so you've got – it's a fine line. The only dick out there is Drew Rosenhaus. Dude,
here's the problem. All right, you're right. Drew Rosenhaus is a fucking dick. That's why Josh Sweat's gone. You're looking at some of these contracts, and I'm looking at some of these contracts. Matt Milano, that guy, he's in Buffalo, I think. Matt Milano. Yes. He signed at 27 years old. He got 2 years. His average salary is $14,100.
Okay. How old was he when he signed that?
27.
Okay.
Now you have JOK. You remember that guy in Cleveland? There you go. We're wondering who the Browns linebacker is. It's fucking JOK. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He signed an extension at 24 years old, so a lot younger, but 3 years, $12.5 million a year, 37.5 value. So I think you're falling right between those two guys. Andrew Van Ginkel was 28 last year. He signed a 2-year, $20 million deal.
He's more of an edge, though.
Yeah, he's a different player. He's a different player.
Yeah. But I would say, hey, okay, 28, 1 year, $14 million? That's steep, dude.
Dude,
That's
doing
steep.
It. Dude, you're talking about a first-team All-Pro linebacker.
Wait, we're talking money now. We ain't talking about accolades. We're talking money here.
I'm talking about putting a football team on the field that can win you another Super Bowl.
I got it. I'm talking about a football team that I built last year with a $1.5 million linebacker.
I know. I know. Look, I'm not disputing you. I'm just telling you this is a guy. Look, here's the thing. We got the best GM in football. All right, this guy is so good with money that half of the world who consumes football content doesn't even know how he does contracts because it doesn't make fucking sense to him because he's so damn good at manipulating it and making it team friendly for the deal. And if we're talking $30 million, all right, I might say, how's Howie going to get that done? We're talking $13 million a year. Bro, I've seen Howie make a $50 million contract look like peanuts on the cap. He did it with Jalen Hurts. $13 million a year. You're telling me the Wizard Roseman can't figure this out?
How about that?
Come on, Howie.
How about that number? Hurts is the first $50 million quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Incredible. Tip of the cap, tip of the Kango to Jalen Hurts. Really impressive. All those other guys who everybody wanted to tell everybody, all right, how they were all better than Jalen Hurts. And only one guy has lifted the trophy. So fuck them all, baby. That should be every Eagles fan's take. You want to talk about regular season, call a Cowboy fan. You want to talk about regular season accolades, talk to James Jones in the chat. Go to Mark Holmes's channel. You want to talk about champions? I'll talk Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts.
Ultimate winner. Ultimate winner,
baby.
There he is, the ultimate winner.
Yes, sir. And I am done.
He's the winner, man. That's right. Hey,
he is a winner.
Fucking winning, he's it. If that's a conversation, he's it when you're talking winner when it comes to NFL QBs. I got you. Absolutely.
You're still having a hard time grasping it.
No.
Yes. Sue sees it.
No.
Sue sees it.
It's exactly
true. You know what I'm looking at, Sue.
The ultimate winner. The ultimate. Way to go, man. That's right.
All right, playoff game. Do or die. Who you taking, Lamar or Jalen?
Whose team am I taking? I'm taking the Eagles. Over Baltimore. Eagles are better than Baltimore.
That wasn't my question, but I guess I don't really know how to ask the question. I'm taking Jalen Hurts over all the or Hurts.
I'm taking the Eagles.
I'm so unenamored.
I'm not again. Jalen Hurts by himself in Buffalo over Baltimore, over Lamar.
Wait, so we started this segment. You talked about the dudes running around in shorts, at the combine, and 50 million people are going to watch it.
Oh,
Those are the 50 million people that we deal with when they tell us that Jalen Hurts isn't good, everybody. All they give a shit about is how fucking pretty it looks. All right? We're done with that conversation as Eagles fans. We have risen above the conversation. When you guys are ready to talk about champions,
absolutely,
I'll entertain it.
Absolutely. Only in Philly, baby.
It's fitting that we talked about the combine at the start of this thing.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. Hey, by the way, last one before we do the supers. You tell me, hiring of Kevin Patullo, does that change your opinion of what they do at 32?
Nah, because they're going defense on 32 they might go offensive line.
Yeah.
I could see them going tackle.
Yep.
But they're not going – I don't think they're going tight end. I heard you mention that.
I don't think there's a guy in.
Yeah. There is some good tight ends. The
one guy from Penn State and the guy from Michigan could probably be somebody that they take a look at.
Yeah. There's a couple good defensive linemen too, but
the kid from Texas too, that kid Helm.
Yeah, I don't think it's a great draft in terms of tackles, but it's good in terms of the interior O-line. I don't know. I don't worry about offensive line drafting because it seems like Stalin always figures out how to get
if
something.
That guy Booker's down there from Bama, I would consider him.
I don't think he's going to be down there, though. You think he's going to be down there?
It depends on where those weirdo quarterbacks go. Dude, all of a sudden, you put Quinn Ewers in that first round, all of a sudden, you got a lot of good players starting to fall down there in the 20s. And with how he move up to get a guy, hey, dude, if you're moving up, you're assuming the guy's a really good ball player.
Right.
Okay, so, I mean.
Who do you think is number one overall in this draft?
I think it's either going to be Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. I think those two guys will be the two guys. I don't think any of those quarterbacks are going to go number one.
You don't think Cam Ward?
No. Well, see, Cleveland's got to get out from under that deal, though, with
No, the Titans have the one pick, don't they?
Tennessee. Tennessee needs a quarterback. That's a shitty organization. They may go Cam. That helps the Eagles if that goes on. It moves better players down. Trust me. Here's the guys here's what you want to have happen. Quinn Ewers drafted, Shador drafted, Cam drafted, and some nobody that a quarterback gets put into that. You want 4 quarterbacks to go in this draft, and you're going to get a really good player at 32.
I don't know what they're going to do. I think if an offensive lineman falls, they're going to take him. I think it's going to be a trench draft because you got to replace Milton. You got to replace edge rusher. So they're going to take an edge rusher. You don't need a skill position guy, maybe a running back in the late rounds. Tight end, I guess you need. But how pressing is it? I don't know.
That Dillon kid from Oregon could be another guy, or that Milroe kid could get into that
dude,
draft.
Fuck that, dude. Don't bring Jalen Milroe to my pro team, dude. And no, guy already ruined my fucking college team. I could barely watch the Crimson Tide last year. No. I'd rather look at small hands flick it. I don't want Milroe.
Let's read these supers before.
If you had to pick one quarterback that was going to be successful from this class, who would you pick?
Oh, so let me pick of this shitty group. I'll take the kid Ward from Miami.
Me too. And I'm not biased toward Miami. Cilio maybe would be, but I think Ward has the best.
I think he's calm in the pocket. I think he's calmer in the pocket, and he's able to make more plays and more ad-lib plays. Shador, to me, takes too many fucking sacks, dude. I mean,
and Cam can move the ball. Cam can push the ball downfield.
Yeah.
To be blunt with you, Yale, I'm not sold on any of them. None of them. Not Shador. Yeah. Not Cam. Not Jackson Dart. I see Abe saying Dart. None of them, dude. Definitely not Jalen Milroe. All right. Definitely not him. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe a pro coach will do something with him. I don't see it. Jason A Team says, I need a Sills elite.
Elite.
You met the moment. Well done. Mikey Shreds. What's up, Mikey? 2 words to describe Hurts. Field general. Not bad.
Okay, take it. Dude, this morning I told somebody that I think that he's probably the best decision-making quarterback, including Mahomes, in the league. And to me, that's what wins Super Bowl. Discipline and decision-making. Talent, I think it's overrated.
I agree.
Talent is overrated.
About time you're coming around.
Hey, do you think Tom Brady could jump over a stack of quarters?
About time Big Sills comes around to the dark side. You're the dark side. I think we're the light.
No, he'll always be the 5th guy in my room. But
fuck that. M. Reyes. None of those other 4 guys on your top 5 have beaten Mahomes in the playoffs. None of them. Joe Burrow did once. All right,
nice team. Nice team.
I will say, Burrow does deserve some credit for even doing anything with the Cincinnati Bengals. Oh my God, what about it? That is like,
hey, dude, do you want to hear what Prisco said? It's a toss-up between Trevor Lawrence. It's a toss-up between Trevor Lawrence and Jalen.
Dude, you get drafted to Cincinnati. It's like waking up in hell. You die you're in hell. And you're like, shit, I didn't make it to the good side. You got to
make sure your check clears on Tuesdays.
I mean, dude, Cincinnati. Oh, come on. Yeah. Come on. Brutal for him. M. Ray says, you are a premier merchant of Jalen Hurts hate.
Reyes, there was no hate today. It was a conversation. You're the only one that took it that way, Dick Stick.
Dick Stick. You're the only one.
And of course,
use that one.
It's so easy to throw a lure into the Dick Stick pond. And of course, M. Reyes is the first one to bite. You're fucking easy, M. Reyes. What a dick
man. That's one of your better nicknames I've ever heard. I got to give you it. Sig Lord, all Paisan coaching staff.
Okay.
Still has a tier.
I need to stop this guinea on guinea hate.
Yeah, you do. I don't give a shit what they are. I just want them to be good.
Patullo, Sirianni. Okay, I mean, I'm starting to go like this. I got my family going, are you hating on Italians? I'm like, no.
Dude, with the way you're going. Oh, wait. With the way you're going, Celia, you might be getting a call for the head coaching or for to coach in Philly, man. You're another Paisano.
Hey, hold on here. You're a Paisan? Yeah, yes. Okay. He's like, hey, why don't you come here and you can be the street cleaner, clean up the parking lot here at the NovaCare. That's probably the only fob I'm gonna get.
Yeah. Eagle Nest. I do like Will Howard, but I don't know, bro. I don't know. I think we're in the midst of a big change in the NFL where it's the land of dual threat now. All right, and I don't know if going down that road makes sense. Martin Perez, Sills, I'll take Cam Scatterboo, pair him with Barkley.
He's gonna be in the 3rd or 4th round.
I'm gonna opt out of Scatterboo.
Really? Why? Why? Because he's a white running back? Shit. Hey,
I don't know. Is that it?
Wait a minute.
I don't think so. I don't.
Wait a minute. You broke the mold with the white corner. Shit.
No, it's not that, dude. Come on. I don't care about that. But
Hey, before you go on, look at this. You want to hear this? You know who the highest rated corner was this year?
With Cooper DeJean. And you wanted to trade him. Fuck him.
Trade him?
You said that yesterday.
For Myles Garrett?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Keep Cooper.
Cooper DeJean is ours.
Yeah. Okay.
He will be a Philly legend. Mark my words.
Get this, folks. I was throwing his name into the room with Myles Garrett, and that's a bad thing. Since when? Holy shit. Who'd you get traded for? Myles Garrett? Still in his prime?
Steve says Scatterboo will be a fan favorite. Yeah, he probably will be. I don't know. I'm not like dying. I'm not dying for Scatterboo in Philly or whatever the hell his name is. Here we go. I think we got this one. Top 3 draft priorities, free agents. Anyone you like? Did you get that one?
Yeah, I got that one.
Got that one.
3 draft
priorities. That's all of them. We should have 500 soon. There it is. All right, there it is. 500 will be on shortly.
Yeah. Hey, I would say this. So the Patullo hiring didn't change anything with you.
No, I feel good about it. I feel good about it.
So how about free agency or drafting? I mean, you still hanging out there in the trenches? Or
I think
trading
so.
up or down?
Trading up or down? I think trading down.
Here's what I would do. Listen to this here. If I were Howie, I would take that 32nd pick, go to New England or go to Tennessee and say, hey, you want to make a deal? Give me the top picks in the second and third rounds. And you get the top pick in the second, third, maybe 2 2s and a 3. And you can go in the second and third round at the top of every draft round for the next 3. If you're not comfortable with who's down there at 32.
I think they might do that.
You get the first pick in every round.
I think they might do that. That's not a bad move right there, but I don't know. We'll see. It all depends how the board falls. Like if an offensive lineman falls and Howie wants him, he's taking him. He's taking him. He knows that he's got to build a trench. If a defensive lineman falls and Howie likes him, he's taking him. So it all depends how the board falls. But if all their trench guys get eaten up, and if they do like a tight end and he gets going, I think they're going to trade out of that thing. But we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing. Last time we had the 32 overall pick, you know what happened, right?
What?
Traded it to Baltimore for the selection of
Lamar
Jackson. Yep.
Right.
Who Jalen Hurts is better than.
Yeah. Right. Hey, wait a minute. Do me a favor, man. Stop fucking arm wrestling in the morning, will you?
No, I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started in the morning. I got so many comments. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm done with both of you old heads. You too. I'm coming for you too.
Oh, with what? With what?
Call your Aunt Betty.
You can't take
call your Aunt Betty and say, get used to it.
Look at these Philly guys. They can't take conversations at all because when you bring shit up, they start going, oh, we're the best. God, you're unsufferable.
You tell Philly 500 you want to trade Cooper Shiesty.
No, for Myles Garrett. Yeah, okay.
No, I'm not doing it.
Okay.
We had the number 1 defense in the NFL without him.
Okay.
All right, let me go. You have a good segment with 500.
Hey, all right, man. I appreciate it. Hey, Zander, we'll catch you in the morning, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Yo, Kokorski, don't ever call me a snowflake, brother. All right? Don't ever fucking call me a snowflake, Kokorski. Jesus Christ, on the way out. Got to rip somebody on the way out. I'm over here.
You got it, man. Look at that. You're pissing Zander off here, man. Sirianni's going to mandate all the Eagle coaches go to the Father Carmine for pregame prayer on Sundays like Rocky Balboa. Hey, Father Carmine, how you doing? All right. I tell you what, supposedly Jalen Hurts was named the MVP of the Super Bowl. I've never seen a guy have to fight for more respect. This guy's like the Rodney Dangerfield of the NFL. Guy wins the Super Bowl MVP. People are debating whether or not he's a good quarterback or not. Thoughts on the wide receiver, the OSU wide receiver. They got 2 of them, Leon. We'll talk more about the drafts, Leon. He's really good. He was a great-looking player, man. All right. Without further ado, by the way, he no longer goes by Philly 500. He goes by Champ 500. Okay? So much so that today I gave a respite to Mark because